Hey everyone, it's me, Donna. I'm making another video about Ancestry.com in case some of you, uh, may be wondering about the new things that are going on with this website. Um, and of course, I'm not being sponsored by Ancestry.com in any way, shape, or form. I have both good and bad opinions about the service. The things I don't like in particular is their actual ethnicity report. I think it overbloats the dominant ethnicity and it leaves out a lot of the smaller stuff. I have heard a rumor, though, that might be changing in the near future, but I don't know how true that is. But I do know that some changes are coming in July, according to this website, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But what I do love about this is the fact that you can build a huge tree as of right now. I love that feature. Um, I love their new through lines feature, which is where they take your DNA and the tree that you're building, and they match it up with DNA and trees from your DNA matches. So if you've built a tree and your cousins have built a tree, or aunts, uncles, whoever, if those people have built a tree, then it will try to match you up and see where everybody fits into the tree. It's not perfect. There are mistakes, but it's things that can be easily fixed, and eventually you will figure it out if there are some goose. And I have come across some hiccups here and there. Uh, One thing in particular, I have some ancestors who were kin to each other who did marry each other, and yes, that happens. It's not something I'm proud of, but it did happen quite a few times in my tree. And like I've told other people, why I don't have 13 fingers and 12 toes, I'll never know. But yeah, I've had cousins that have married each other, people who have married back into each other's families 2 or 3 times, if not more. That has happened quite a bit. So naturally, you can expect there to be like a little bit of confusion with the through lines feature, and I will explain a little bit more about that. So yeah, that can be one thing. Another thing is, let's say you're working on your tree and your cousin is working on their tree, and one or both of you puts in a wrong ancestor. um, since it knows that, hey, you're kin to this person in this way, and you both share a common ancestor, say like your third great grandfather, well, then it will go ahead and try to match both of you up with that third great grandfather. Um, and even though that might not even be either one of you's great grandfather. But how you can get past that is if you start noticing, let's just say that third great grandfather has, it shows up his father and then his great grandfather and so on and so on. If you start noticing that you're not matching up to any other ancestors coming from that person, from up that line, then that is kind of a good indication that something might be a little bit wrong there. And then you can go back and you can correct it by putting, trying to find like the right ancestor, and you can put them in there and then just go from there. And that has happened. But then once I found the right person and I put them in, then I noticed from that person on, I started getting DNA hits, on back up the line, and I knew then that I was on the right track. So, just kind of be on the lookout for that. So that's where you kind of have to do your research and make sure that you've got the right person, and maybe talk to more cousins and other people to kind of see, if things, start to look right or whatever. So, but anyway, let me show you what this is about. Okay. Alright, right here is like when you do the DNA kit and everything, then it will show your DNA matches, okay? And right now I've got it on the new beta feature. If you have like the beta off, which let me let it load up, okay? Like when the beta is off, let me click it off, then you will see what it looks like with it off. Okay, this is how it looks off, okay? What I don't like about this is when I try to look at my notes, I have to go this route. I have to, you know, click on that right there in order to see my notes, which is not bad, but what's cool about the beta feature, when I click it on, and it loads up, it puts my notes right here, right on the side, where I can easily view them to see how I'm kin to certain people. Okay? So, you know, that's a huge help with that. Okay? Alrighty? Okay. So that's how it looks in beta. Okay? Alright, then I can go back to my overall summary results, and I can see the new through lines feature that I was talking about, where it matches you up with other people who have done a tree. Now, if you haven't taken the DNA test and you're just doing a tree, this feature will not work for you. Or if you've just taken a DNA test and you haven't even bothered with a tree, it's not going to help you. You have to do both. You have to do the DNA test and you have to at least start a tree. Okay? So you click on this, and if you've started on a tree, it will show you your relatives that you've added. And also, if you have a potential relative that you may not have added yet, which I have added this person to my tree, but for some reason it's not recognizing her. And I think it has to do with the fact of some of my cousins marrying each other and everything. I did notice, especially on the Warren and Staggs and Shelton, and you know, just different lines. I've noticed that when you have 2 or 3 cousins or more who share the same ancestor, it gets it a little bit confused, and it will add that person both times. Let me see if I can find someone who's been added twice. Let me go on up here. Let's see if I can find it. Oh. Well, come on, let's see. Well, it's not going to show it right now, or I can't. Let's see, wait a minute, hold on just a second. Okay, let me show you. Alright, right here. Alright, these people produced offspring, and on down the line, the grandchildren, it was either grandchildren or great-grandchildren, ended up marrying each other. That was on the Newman side of my family. So it caused them to be my 5th great-grandparents twice. See, right here they are, and then right here they are. Okay, I've got them on my tree both times, but for some reason it causes there to be a little bit of confusion, and it will only actually add them as, you know, a regular through lines once, and then the other time it will say that they're my potential 5th great-grandparents. It will show them, but it will just show it as a potential, but yet I've added them to my tree. So yeah, you know, you just kind of have to watch out about that if you have that that situation. So don't judge me, okay? Because I'm sure a lot of you will find that out on up your tree, that that stuff does happen. So just be prepared for it, okay? Don't be shocked, because it does happen, even in the best of families. It happens, okay? All right, and since I only have the free feature, it will only show me up to the 5th great grandparents, or at least that's what it says. That it, you know, it will only show you up to that. I don't know if that's going to change in the future or not. I hope that it does, because you know, from that point on, I'm pretty much just either guessing or trying to do my best with my research, you know, to figure out who's who, you know. Um, and who knows, maybe later on down the road I may end up getting a subscription, but right now I just haven't. I'm still kind of on the fence about it. Um, I don't know how far. I guess it will probably go as far as you have cousins. Like if you have 10th cousins who somehow match up to, you know, a 9th or 10th great grandparent, then I'm sure it will show it if you have an actual subscription. So I don't know. But that's as far as it's showing for me, the 5th great grandparent. Okay. All right. Right here is how my tree actually looks when I go to it. Okay. Well, if it was showing. Come on. Alright, you can click this and you can make, you know, it will show on up the line and all that. And what's cool about this is if you have the little DNA thing on, it will show the ancestors that you actually have DNA connections to. And as I've said, it only goes up to the 5th great grandparent. So anything beyond that, I just have to do my research and do everything the old-fashioned way to see, you know, if that's my possible ancestor. Okay. And what I was wanting to show you is, of course, just starting out, you can go to the area where it says create and manage tree. You click on that, and let me show you. And you can create you a tree. You can click this button and you can start off creating a tree, whether you want it to be for you, for somebody else that you're helping out, or whatever. You could start building a tree using that feature, okay? Alright, once you get started, and let's just say that you're adopted, or you know, you don't know who certain ancestors are or whatever. What you can do is, once you've got it started, you can, let's just pretend like I'm just, you know, I've got myself right here or whatever, and I'm wanting to add a mother or a father or whatever, and I just, you know, I just don't know, you know, who they are. What you can do is you can start off to see if it's going to work. You can put a question mark for their first name, okay? Then go down here, and it's my kind of, you know, understanding or whatever, is that the average person has a child around the age of 20. That's usually when, you know, people start having children or whatever. So if you don't know who your parents are, go from the time that you were born. Let's just give 1975 as an example, okay? Let's just pretend like you were born in 1975. Okay, what you would do is you would count back 20 years from that date, and just say that your parents were born around 1955. So that you put ABT period and then type in 1955. Okay, let me get it to do it. Okay, and then what you might could do is, if you feel like you know what state they were born in, then just go ahead and type in the state. I'll just say Alabama. and then type in USA after the state. Unless you were born in another country, then you just type in England or whatever, okay? So you do that, and then you click save. Alright, and then what I would do is I would wait a few days from that time, at least a day. Wait a day and see if anything pops up, either in your tree, which in this case I'm just going to go ahead and delete this since I just used it as an example. Okay, so I'm going to delete this person. Okay. Alright, but then what you can do is you can check your tree and see if anything pops up. If a little leaf pops up right up here or anything that kind of might give you a hint, you know, what you can do is, like, you can click on that person and you can click on this and it will take you to the hint section, and you can start looking up, like you can go on down and see if any other names or anything pops up right in here. If not, you can just keep going. You can go right here to where it says search ancestry, and you can keep looking and checking and see if anything pops up. Okay, if nothing pops up there that's of interest, then you can go to your DNA through lines feature. Let me go back to it. And see if a potential father or mother pops up, or aunt or uncle or whatever. Just see if anything pops up that might be a potential person, and just explore that potential and see if that could be of any help. And if you click on that person and you notice, wait a minute, let me go back. Let me find somebody else. Let me click on this person. If you notice somebody else, another DNA match, then you can click on that person and ask them. You can send them a message. It will load it up. Yeah, you can send them a message and maybe ask them, hey, I noticed that we might both be kin to this person. Can you give me more information or whatever? So that's how that could be, you know, a real useful tool for you, you know, if you're looking for someone. Okay. All right. Let's see. You know, as I've said, you know, I'm not thrilled with the ethnicity part of it, as far as ancestry, but I am very, very pleased with their trees and their DNA matchup, their through lines feature and all that. I really, really like it. So, yeah, I hope this was of some help to some people out there. If you have any questions, you know, you're free to ask me and I will help you in any way that I can. There may be some stuff that I don't know, but that's pretty much how everything looks as of right now. So, oh yeah, guys, I forgot to add, if your first situation with the question mark didn't work out, let's just say, you know, you tried to add a question mark for your mother or your father or both or whatever, and it didn't give you any results, then go up above that person and add another question mark, and then go back 20 years from that first person as far as the birth date and what have you, and just see if, and, you know, maybe either, you know, add a state that you think that person might have been born in or whatever, or just type in USA, however you want to do it, and then click save, and then give it another day or two and see if something else pops up with that person. I think by doing this, eventually it's going to trigger something. I mean, surely if you do this with both your parents surely to goodness, it will cause the feature to somehow, some way connect you up with some cousin somewhere. Even if you get like a piece of a name, if you know your mother's name might have been Evelyn, or just anything that you can put in there to kind of help it along, I would do that and just see if there's somehow, some way it will trigger it in order to help you find a relative, okay? But anyway, I just thought I would mention that and everything. So we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.